and welcome to my 25-week pregnancy update. Honestly, it feels weird even filming another video because I feel like so much has happened this week, but also every time I film, I'm like a week closer to my due date. And I know that's obvious, but it's really freaky because, you know, you're beginning to get to a shorter countdown. I'm now less than 100 days until I'm due. So that for me has been a huge milestone this past week, but I've got loads to talk about, I've got loads to get into, so I'm going to keep this intro really short and snappy. But if you enjoy pregnancy updates, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be doing these weekly up until I have the baby, and then I'll be doing postpartum updates and just keeping you guys kind of informed along the way. So whether that be baby hauls, you know, updates, experiences, all things like that. So do subscribe if you aren't already, and like this video if you enjoy pregnancy updates, because I love filming them and I hope you enjoy them as much as I love creating them. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So I touched on the fact that I am now less than 100 days until I'm due, which is mental. But I am also less than 3 months away from my maternity leave, which is really, really weird because the way that I work when I'm at work, we basically do things in a monthly cycle. So we'll do the same thing in the first week of the month, the same thing the second week of the month. And I only have 3 more cycles left at work, which is so weird to think. That I have like a countdown app on my phone because I'm really sad like that. And it popped up the other day, like 3 months until maternity leave begins. And I was like, oh my God, it was crazy. So obviously when you watch this video, I'll be even closer because I'm filming these videos in advance, because when baby comes, I really think it's important not to worry about filming. I'm going to have these all scheduled in. But yeah, 3 months until I go off on maternity leave, which is mental. Now, another crazy fact of being 25 weeks pregnant, and something I didn't know, but I now have 50% more blood in my body than I did before I was pregnant. How crazy is that to think? And the extra blood can cause you swelling if you're beginning to swell. I'm suffering from some cramps at night, which I think is to do with it as well. But it's mental to think you have that much more blood in your body. It's really weird, isn't it? And I don't know if that freaks anyone else out, but when I heard about that fact, I was like, how can that even be possible? It seemed so alien to me. So I think I touched on this in previous videos as well, but we're beginning to sort the house out, ready for the little one to arrive. So we ordered a desk that will be going downstairs in our living room, and that has now arrived, which means we can begin sorting upstairs out for the baby, which is really, really mental. So the plan is, we have a 3-bedroom house and Rich and I have just filled each of the spare rooms up with our own stuff because we didn't want the rooms to be empty and we didn't know when we were going to have a baby when we moved in. Obviously, it's happened probably a lot sooner than we thought it would be. So with that in mind, we are beginning to kind of reshuffle all the rooms and make sure that we've got space for the baby. So the plan with the desk downstairs is that Rich basically has all of his gaming stuff in a room, has his computer. So the computer is going downstairs and everything else can be put elsewhere. So as soon as that is all downstairs, that frees up the room that Rich had filled. And then the room I'm currently filming in, which is like, I call it my white room, but it's basically like a beauty room, that's going to get moved into the bigger bedroom for now, just because we want to put the baby in the smallest of the bedrooms first. So once she's in here when she's born, and then basically the plan is when she then outgrows this room, we'll put her in the bigger one. So it'll be better for like playtime. When they begin to have like furniture, things like kitchens, there's no real room for that in our living room, so we want to make sure we've got the space in a bedroom, and we just think that room will be better when they get older and a bit more mobile and actually physically playing with things. But whilst they're a baby, this bedroom is closer to our bedroom, so when they do actually move out of our bedroom, this one will be better. So that is the plan, and we are going to begin to do that like as soon as possible. And it's just really weird moving things around, but I'm looking forward to getting this move around sorted because it's probably going to take a couple of weeks because all of my stuff I need to go through, basically decide what I'm keeping and not. I need to dilute my collection like Rich has done his. So yeah, that's happening this week. I'm really excited to begin actually doing it because again, it's another step closer to making it all really real. So yeah, I'll let you guys know how that's gone probably in next week's update. So I touched on this like symptom, I suppose it is, last week, but oh my goodness, I am so hungry all of the time. Like, that has not stopped this week. I'm just constantly hungry, constantly thinking about food, just constantly wanting something more, and I'm trying not to give into it all the time because I just don't want to get in the habit of just putting too much weight on because I'm eating too much. But I am also, like, I know how important it is to listen to your body, and I'm making sure that when I have a meal it's as nutritious as possible and things like that. So I know that they recommend, if you feel like this, then you should have smaller meals but like more of them throughout the day. I've not actually tried that because I've just kept to like having breakfast, and then I have lunch at work, and then I have dinner when I get home. So I need to make sure that if I can split it up a little bit, then I will. But yeah, that is definitely a symptom. Like, that is not going away. I'm so hungry all of the time. And it's quite cool because Rich's sister at the moment is like baking loads of things, and she's baking like amazing brownies, and they are like heaven to me. I'm getting through them like no one's business. Like, Rich isn't really touching many of them because I'm just enjoying them so much. I also really enjoyed peanut M&Ms the other day. They were one of my favourites. And it's one of those things that you don't realise that you want it until you're eating it and you're like, oh my god, this is so good. So it's just things like that. I'm like constantly wanting to snack, and if I'm at work I try not to take snacks in because then I will just have snacks. But yeah, definitely like so hungry. And let me know if you also are having this at this stage or whether it is just me, because I could honestly eat for England. It's crazy. So I am going to do a separate video about this because I think it would just be easier to talk about it more at length. But this week we went for our 4D scan, and in short we got confirmation that our little girl is in fact 100% a little girl, which I'm just so amazed by, and I just feel so amazing and content, and I just can't believe it, and I'm so happy that we got confirmation. But I am going to do a whole video about my experience, kind of where I went, why I decided to go, the process of actually going, because my little one was being very awkward, so it's quite good to talk about like the realities of if like your baby's being a bit awkward. And yeah, I just want to show you that, and I'm also gonna insert, like, we got a video of the scan, so I'm definitely going to insert clips of that because it was so amazing to see features. I know that my baby has Rich's nose, and that is mental. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a video all about that. I'm going to be filming that after this video so I can just talk at depth about it. But all in all, it was the most amazing experience and I would recommend it 100%, but I will talk about it more in that video, and costs and everything. So if you have any questions, let me know what they are. But I am hoping to cover just basically everything about it in another video because it will just be a good resource. If anyone's asking me about it, then I can refer them to the video. But yeah, it was amazing. So pleased we did it, and yeah, I'm just so pleased we have confirmation that she is a little girl. It was amazing, but yeah, I will talk about that in great lengths in a separate video, but I just wanted to touch on the fact that because it's happened this week, that we went for it and it was just the most amazing thing. So if you are considering it, definitely watch that video. It'll be up on Sunday, and honestly, it was just so fab. So yeah, I would 100% recommend it. But definitely watch that video if you have any questions or wanting to know more about my experience, because I just love thinking about it and I love watching the videos and looking at the pictures. It was just so good. So yeah, I hope that video will be helpful to anyone considering it, but I'm really excited to talk about it like from start to end because it was just like the most amazing thing. So today is my first day of being 26 weeks pregnant. But yesterday, which was the last day of being 25 weeks, I had my whooping cough vaccine. Now I thought it was called whooping cough and I was calling it whooping cough, but it turns out it's called whooping cough. I'm sure that everyone else knows that, and it was just me sounding like an idiot at the doctor's surgery. But I went to see my midwife, which I haven't really touched on, but I'll get onto that next. And she recommended to book in for the vaccine because I think you can get it from 20 weeks onwards. So I booked in for that and I had that yesterday. It wasn't painful when she did it, it wasn't painful at all. But now, literally my arm, it feels like I've been lifting weights, and honestly, the whole top of my arm right now is in agony. I just can't lift it up beyond a certain point. It really hurts. I was driving to work this morning And even just changing gear on a car, I can almost feel like my muscles tense up a little bit, and I don't really react very well to vaccines. And she's also mentioned, which I'll talk about the appointment in a moment, but she also touched on the fact that I should get the flu jab this year because obviously you get it if you're pregnant. But I don't know whether to get it. The only reason I'm saying this is because when I was younger, I used to suffer really badly with asthma. So when I used to have the flu jab, literally the next day I would get the flu, and then I would have the flu for a couple of days. Because it's a live vaccine, they put it in your arm, my body just never fought it off, and it just basically just got the flu. So I need to talk to my midwife on my next appointment because I'm not too sure whether it's the best thing for me, judging by my history. But obviously I want to take all the preventative care that I can for the baby. So I don't know whether to do it or not. I didn't book it when I booked my whooping cough vaccine because I just thought I don't have it and then get ill. And then my midwife almost be like, why didn't you tell me that that was the case? So touching on my midwife appointment, I mentioned about the drama of having to reschedule it. Turns out my midwife wasn't in. She only works on Tuesdays, so I only have midwife appointments on Tuesdays, but she just wasn't there. I had someone else, and it's really awkward because I live in a really small town, and the person who was my midwife or standing in for my normal midwife, she was like a mum of someone I used to know, and I used to go to their house and I knew the mum, so it was really weird. It was like no one really addressed the fact that we knew each other, but it was just so awkward. So that, it kind of wasn't as good. I mean, Rich came with me, which was really nice. He doesn't often get to come with me to midwife appointments because he's just constantly working, and he works nights, sleeps in a day, and midwife appointments are always at like the most random times. So he actually managed to come with me, which was nice. We heard baby's heartbeat again. We actually heard it in our 4D scan as well, so it wasn't the first time he had heard it, but it was still really nice to know that, like, you know, everything is still fine a couple of days after. She was still in the same position as she was when we had the scan. There was nothing else really that came from having my midwife appointment, other than the fact that we got to hear the heartbeat and she said about the vaccines and things. So yeah, that was kind of it. It was quite uneventful. We got seen early, which was a good thing. They normally are running late, so that was a blessing. But yeah, it was kind of awkward, mainly because I knew the woman, so it just made it really awkward. And like, she was measuring my stomach and asking me, like, because she wasn't my normal midwife, she was just asking me like really like general questions, and that's really frustrating for me because I want to make sure, like, I like the fact that having the same midwife, you're able to actually, she knows you. And this midwife was almost like, oh, how's your pregnancy been? And I'm like, I'm not going to go through it all. So yeah, it was just a bit annoying that my normal midwife wasn't there, but I have a 28-week appointment, which I've booked, so that's only in a couple of weeks' time, and hopefully I'll have her so I can go through anything and any questions. But it's just really frustrating. All the drama I had to go through to rearrange my appointment because she wasn't there, and then she still wasn't there. It's just, I don't know, one of those things. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But overall this week I have really began to feel quite emotional. Not necessarily in the terms of like crying or really happy or anything, but I'm just feeling like internally really content and happy, and I just can't believe that we're having a little girl. It's so weird, and I touched on the fact that we have a name that we're like 90% sure on. So they recommend to start talking to the baby, and that helps with development and stuff, so we're going to start doing that. And we're just going to try and say the name that we have in mind out loud in like different situations, just to make sure that we like it in every possible way. I know that sounds really silly, but it's like considering the initials. Rich also is getting to pick the middle name on this child, and I'll pick the middle name on the next one. So it's making sure that those names go together, and it's things like that that I just want to make sure it's 100% right, because it's like the biggest commitment ever. It's not like naming a goldfish. Like, this person has to live with that name for the rest of their life, so I just want to make sure it's right. I think that we're going to go for it though, but we don't know. So we just want to keep making sure that it sounds okay. That's pretty much my 25-week update. I'll show you what my bump's like, but there's no real change, I don't think, from last week. I would just pull up my jumper so you can see what it's like, but I've got these maternity jeans on from ASOS and they're just like an elasticated waist. But yeah, I don't feel like it's too different to last week. I'm just getting bigger and bigger. But yeah, I don't feel like it's as dramatic as it was like from 23 weeks to 24, but it's definitely there, it's definitely prominent, and it's definitely like a pregnancy bump. My belly button is still in, which I said I will kind of let you guys know about as soon as it kind of pops out, but for now, that's kind of what I'm looking like. So that's it for my 25-week pregnancy update. Like I mentioned, I will be uploading a 4D scan experience video on Sunday, so definitely stick around for that and subscribe if you want to be one of the first to be notified as soon as that's up. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you have done so, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!